Carter stood at the bathroom sink, his hands gripping the cold porcelain, his reflection staring back at him like an accusation. The dim light of the apartment cast sharp angles across his face, emphasizing the tension in his jaw. He could still hear the faint buzz of his phone on the counter, another message from Ryan, his boyfriend. "Be home soon. Miss you." Carter exhaled sharply, shutting his eyes for a second longer than necessary. He should have been happy. Ryan was everything he could have asked for, stable, reliable, loving. But as he reached for the shower handle, another name lingered at the edge of his thoughts. Liam. The knock at the apartment door sent a jolt through him. Carter turned off the tap, staring at the entrance like it was a loaded gun. He already knew who it was before he even asked. What the hell is he doing here? He didn't have to answer the door. He should have ignored it. But he didn't. With a steadying breath, Carter pulled the door open, and there he was. Liam Carter, his best friend for over a decade. Tall, broad-shouldered, every inch of him exuding that same reckless confidence he always carried. His dark blue eyes flickered with something unreadable as he leaned casually against the frame, drenched from the rain, his damp t-shirt clinging to the sculpted lines of his chest. "You weren't answering your phone," Liam said, stepping inside without waiting for an invitation. Carter frowned, shutting the door behind him. "I was about to shower. And you just show up unannounced now?" Liam smirked, running a hand through his damp hair, making it stick up in careless spikes. "You always say that, yet you never actually tell me to leave." That was the problem. Carter never did. "Ryan's coming home soon," he warned, folding his arms over his chest, as if that simple gesture could shield him from the way Liam's gaze flickered lower for just a second too long. Liam's smirk didn't falter. If anything, it deepened. "Relax, I'm not here to cause problems. Just needed to see you." Needed. That word twisted something tight in Carter's stomach. "You could have texted." Liam's expression turned unreadable, his fingers tapping idly against the kitchen counter. "Would you have answered?" Silence. Carter didn't have an answer for that. Because the truth was, no, he wouldn't have. Because Liam was dangerous. Not in an obvious way, not in the way people crossed the street when they saw him coming. But in the way he made Carter feel. In the way he made Carter question everything. Liam had been straight his whole life. Women, hookups, relationships. Carter had watched it all. And yet, the way Liam looked at him now, the way his body language had changed over the years, it was something else. Something unspoken. Something Carter didn't dare name. Carter exhaled through his nose, dragging a hand through his own short, damp hair. "Liam, you can't keep doing this." Liam arched a brow. "Doing what?" "Coming here like this. Showing up like you need me. Like you want something you're too afraid to say." Liam stepped closer, slow and deliberate. The heat between them shifted, and Carter felt his pulse pick up. Too close. Too familiar. "Like I what?" Liam asked softly. Carter's breath caught. He knew this game. Liam pushed just far enough to make Carter doubt, to make him second-guess himself. And Carter always fell for it. Always let himself get reeled back in. The air felt thick. Liam's gaze was locked onto him, intense, unwavering. This wasn't just friendship anymore. But it couldn't be anything else. Ryan. The man he had built a life with. The man who loved him without hesitation. The man who trusted him. Carter took a deliberate step back. "You should go." A flicker of something passed through Liam's eyes. Disappointment, maybe. Annoyance. Or something deeper. But he didn't argue. He simply exhaled, running a hand over his jaw before nodding. "Yeah. Sure." He moved past Carter, the scent of rain and something distinctly him lingering in the air. Carter felt the absence the moment Liam stepped out, the door clicking shut behind him. But it wasn't over. Not even close. Because as Carter turned back toward the bathroom, his pulse still hammering, he knew Liam would come back. And worse, he knew he'd let him. The water ran hot, steam curling against the glass of the shower as Carter braced his hands against the tiled wall. He let the stream beat against his back, trying to drown out the noise in his head. Liam. Carter clenched his jaw, inhaling deeply, as if he could wash the tension off his skin. Liam showing up unannounced wasn't new, but tonight had felt different, charged in a way that neither of them had been willing to name. He should have shut the door in his face. Should have told him to leave before the weight of that unspoken thing between them settled in the air. But he hadn't. And now, standing under the spray, Carter couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted. The faintest creak echoed through the bathroom, just barely audible over the sound of the water. His muscles tensed. "Ryan?" he called, voice rough from the heat. Silence. Then, a presence. Carter turned sharply, just in time to see the shadowed figure move through the steam. And then, Liam. Inside the bathroom, closing the door behind him. Carter's pulse slammed against his ribs. "Liam, what the hell are you doing?" Liam didn't answer immediately. He was close, too close, the heat of the room clinging to his skin, the fabric of his t-shirt still damp from the rain. He should have looked out of place here, standing in the glow of the dim bathroom light, his expression unreadable. But he didn't. He looked like he belonged. "I couldn't leave," Liam said finally, his voice low. Carter swallowed, forcing himself to breathe evenly. "That's not an answer." Liam exhaled, dragging a hand through his hair before stepping forward. One step. Then another. Carter didn't move. "Tell me to leave," Liam said, softer this time. Carter opened his mouth. The words wouldn't come. Because he didn't want to say them. Liam must have seen the hesitation because the next thing Carter knew, Liam's hands were on him. Not rough, not forceful, just enough to press against the sharp angles of his collarbones, sliding down his arms, palms warm and steady. Carter sucked in a breath. He should stop this. He should say something. Anything. But he didn't. Because he wanted this. The realization hit like a punch to the gut. He wanted this in a way that terrified him. "Liam," Carter's voice barely made it past his lips, but Liam was already moving. A hand at his jaw. A tilt of his chin. Then, contact. Liam kissed him. It wasn't hesitant. It wasn't questioning. It was decisive, sure. Like Liam had known all along this was going to happen. The heat surged between them, more intense than the water still running in the background. Carter responded before his mind could catch up, his hands gripping at Liam's shirt, pulling him closer, until there was no space left between them. The kiss deepened. Their breaths turned sharp, frantic. It was reckless, messy, wrong. And Carter didn't care. Liam's hands skimmed over bare skin, leaving fire in their wake. The sensation made Carter gasp, made him arch into the touch like a man starving. "You have no idea how long I've wanted this," Liam muttered against his lips, voice strained, desperate. Carter's stomach twisted at the confession. But instead of stopping, it only made him pull Liam in harder. Liam groaned against his mouth, the sound vibrating between them, making Carter's knees feel weak. The need was unbearable, unforgivable. Somewhere, in the back of his mind, Carter knew there was a line, and he had just crossed it. Ryan. The name crashed into him like ice water, freezing him mid-movement. His hands, once fisted in Liam's shirt, now pushed instead of pulled. Carter tore himself away, his breath coming in sharp, uneven bursts. Liam's chest was rising and falling just as quickly, his pupils blown wide. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The only sound was the water still running behind them, a steady reminder of the moment they'd lost control. Then, Liam exhaled, stepping back. The warmth of his body disappeared, leaving Carter cold in a way that had nothing to do with the temperature. Liam dragged a hand down his face, his fingers pressing into his temples. "Shit." Carter closed his eyes, his pulse hammering so hard he could hear it in his ears. "You need to go." Liam didn't move. Carter forced himself to meet his gaze. "Liam. You need to go." Something flickered across Liam's face. Hurt, frustration, something else Carter couldn't name. But this time, he listened. He took a step back. Then another. And then he was gone, slipping out of the bathroom without another word. The door clicked shut behind him. Carter stood there, water still running, hands shaking at his sides. He had just betrayed Ryan. And the worst part? He wanted to do it again. Carter sat on the edge of the bed, gripping his phone so tightly his knuckles turned white. His pulse still hadn't settled, the heat of Liam's touch lingering on his skin like an echo. The shower hadn't washed it away. Nothing would. He had messed up. His phone vibrated in his palm. Ryan. The name on the screen made his stomach lurch. He hesitated before answering, swallowing hard to steady his voice. Hey. Hey babe, Ryan's voice was warm, easy. I'm on my way. Traffic shit, but I'll be home soon. Carter squeezed his eyes shut, pressing a hand against his forehead. He could hear it in Ryan's voice, the trust, the comfort. It made his chest tighten with something almost unbearable. Can't wait, Carter forced out, hating how hollow the words sounded. He had just kissed another man. Not just any man. Liam. His best friend. The one person who wasn't supposed to be an option. The guilt was suffocating, but beneath it, tangled up in the mess of regret, was something worse. Desire. He still wanted him. Ryan chuckled on the other end. You sound off. Long day. Carter rubbed at his temple. Yeah, just tired. Liar. All right, I'll let you rest, Ryan said. See you soon. Love you. The words made Carter's throat tighten. He should have said it back. It was easy, automatic, except tonight it wasn't. He hung up without responding. The silence that followed was unbearable. His thoughts twisted, looping back to Liam, to the way his lips had felt. Hot, certain, unapologetic. Liam had meant it. He had wanted it. And Carter had let him. A sharp knock at the door sent his heart into his throat. He knew before he even stood who it was. His hands shook as he opened the door. Liam. Back again. His shirt was different now, dry, but his hair was still damp, as if he'd run his hands through it too many times. There was a wildness in his eyes, something raw and unguarded. Neither of them spoke. The weight of what had happened hung between them, thick and suffocating. Finally, Liam exhaled. I should have left for real, huh? Carter's fingers dug into the doorframe. You shouldn't be here. Liam tilted his head, watching him carefully. Yeah? Then why'd you open the door? Carter inhaled sharply. He had no answer. Liam took a step inside, his body brushing against Carter's as he moved past him. The scent of him, fresh, clean, but still him, sent Carter's thoughts spiraling. He shut the door before he could think better of it. What do you want? Carter asked, his voice quieter than he intended. Liam turned, his jaw tight. You know what I want. Carter's stomach flipped. He did know. Liam, Carter ran a hand through his hair, shaking his head. This is wrong. Liam let out a hollow laugh. Then why did you kiss me back? Carter flinched. Liam stepped closer. Not hesitant. Not afraid. Bold. Always bold. Carter felt his back hit the wall before he realized he had been retreating. Liam leaned in, voice low, deliberate. You want to tell me that kiss meant nothing? Carter's breathing turned shallow. It shouldn't have happened. Liam's gaze darkened. But it did. Carter's chest heaved. He could still feel Liam's hands on him, still taste him. Ryan. The name cut through the haze like a knife, snapping him back to reality. I can't do this. His voice wavered, but he forced himself to say it. Liam's jaw ticked. Why not? Carter swallowed hard. Because I love him. Liam's expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes, something almost wounded. For the first time, Carter realized, Liam had expected a different answer. Carter clenched his fist. Please, just go. Liam stared at him for a long moment. Then, without another word, he turned and walked out the door. Carter let out a shaky breath, pressing his forehead against the wall. This should have been the end. But he knew better. It wasn't over. Not even close. Carter sat on the couch, fingers laced tightly together, staring at nothing. The room felt too small. Too quiet. The weight of what had happened pressed against his chest, suffocating. Ryan sat across from him, his face calm, unreadable. He didn't know. He couldn't know. You've been distant. Ryan's voice was gentle, but there was something underneath it, concern, maybe suspicion. Carter forced a smile, though it felt weak. Just work. Stress. Lies. Ryan studied him for a moment, then nodded slowly. Okay. Carter's stomach twisted. Ryan trusted him. Even now. Even after everything. Before he could say anything else, a knock at the door made his breath catch. Ryan raised an eyebrow. Expecting someone? Carter's heart pounded as he shook his head. No. But he knew who it was. Liam. Ryan stood, moving toward the door, but Carter was faster. I got it. He yanked the door open and stepped out, pulling it shut behind him before Ryan could see who was standing there. Liam's eyes met his, intense, unwavering. Carter exhaled sharply. What the hell are you doing here? Liam didn't look sorry. Didn't look hesitant. We need to talk. Carter glanced over his shoulder, making sure Ryan wasn't listening. His pulse hammered. Are you insane? Ryan is inside. Liam took a step closer, lowering his voice. I don't care. Carter clenched his jaw. Well, I do. Liam studied him for a long moment. Then, quietly, he said, No, you don't. Carter's breath hitched. Because the truth was, Liam was right. He could lie to Ryan. He could lie to himself. But he couldn't lie to Liam. Liam knew him too well. Carter's hands curled into fists. You have to stop this. Liam's gaze darkened. Tell me to leave. Carter swallowed hard. Liam stepped even closer, close enough that Carter could feel the heat of him, the pull of something undeniable. Tell me you don't want this. Carter opened his mouth. Nothing came out. Liam let out a quiet laugh, bitter, knowing. That's what I thought. Carter squeezed his eyes shut, his breath coming short and uneven. He was losing this battle. He had already lost. Liam leaned in, voice barely above a whisper. If I walk away now, you and I both know I'm coming back. Carter's body betrayed him, leaning in ever so slightly, despite everything screaming at him not to. The door behind him creaked open. Carter jerked back as Ryan's voice cut through the tension. Carter! His heart stopped. He turned, forcing himself to look at Ryan, to keep his face neutral. Ryan frowned, glancing between them. Liam stepped back, hands in his pockets, expression unreadable. Not guilty. Not ashamed. Just waiting. Ryan's eyes narrowed slightly. Everything okay? Carter forced a nod. Yeah. Liam was just leaving. Liam didn't move. For a moment, Carter thought he might say something, might push just a little further. But then Liam exhaled sharply, shaking his head. Yeah, he muttered. I was just leaving. He turned and walked away without another word. Carter watched him go, something heavy settling in his chest. Ryan touched his arm, grounding him. You sure you're okay? Carter nodded. Yeah. Just tired. Ryan studied him for a moment, then nodded, brushing a kiss against his cheek before heading back inside. Carter lingered at the doorway, staring down the hall where Liam had disappeared. It should have been over. But deep down, Carter knew, Liam would be back. And worse? He didn't know if he would stop him next time.